So what's good, y'all? We back with another video. And I know I should have came out with this video probably a few days earlier, just because the timing would have been better. But I think nonetheless, I think this topic is still worth the discussion because right now Zion Williamson and the New Orleans Pelicans are playing like true title contenders. And I remember super early in the season, probably only like 3 games into the year, when I was watching them play, I was seeing the way they looked, and I was like, this team can be a contender if everything goes well. And so far, it looks good. And the crazy part is, there's been like people in and out of the lineup all season, it feels like, whether that's Brandon Ingram, who's been out, whether that's Zion Williamson, who has games off sometimes. And this team is still at the top of the Western Conference at 18-9. And Zion, in specific, is playing like a top 5, you could say, MVP candidate. Now, how long will he continue to play at this level? I don't know, because I actually think he can sustain this level based off what we've seen when he was healthy back in 2021, where he averaged, 26 points per game, 60% shooting. I think it's very sustainable. And I think it's very easy to build a team around him because he's a guy that he can play off the ball, he can play on the ball. It doesn't really matter. It's not like a Luka Doncic where he needs the ball in his hands to really be a big factor in the game, especially on the offensive end. And as for the Pelicans as a whole, this team is clicking. This team is a deep roster, and there's a lot of guys on this team that are playing really well in their role. More specifically, the guys that I mentioned back earlier in the season that I thought were going to be a factor, like Trey Murphy III, like Jose Alvarado, Larry Nance Jr. You got all those guys coming in, Herb Jones. Dyson Daniels has actually started to get some minutes, and he's actually been playing pretty well. Nothing crazy, but he's playing within his role. Solid defender right now as well. And the crazy thing is, this team could get better by the end of the season. They can probably look to add more pieces if they want. Or if they don't, it doesn't really matter. If they keep the same roster, I still think they're a title contender. You look at the stats as a team, 5th in points per game, 9th in opponent points per game, 5th in offensive rating, 3rd in defensive rating. And right now, they look like probably the second best team in basketball, especially when healthy, when Ingram and Zion are playing at the same time. Not to mention, CJ McCollum, who's the 3rd best player on this team, hasn't even really gotten into full gear. He's averaging 17 points per game, but he's shooting like 40% from the floor. Not an efficient year for him at all. So if those numbers climb up and he starts to get it going, with Ingram being healthy, with Zion averaging 25 points per game, along with 7 rebounds, 4 assists, starting to become more of a guy that is on the ball, more so like an initiator, can find guys in the right spots, can go to the rim with ease instead of playing post-up basketball, which he can do as well, but I think it's better with him attacking you downhill because who can stop him? This team is legit. This team really got 6 guys averaging double figures. Larry Nance is right there at 9 points per game. That would have been the 7th. And you also got Jose Alvarado, who's also averaging 9.5 points per game. He would have been the 8th. So you got almost 8 guys in double figures, 6 to be exact. The ball's moving. They're one of the top 5 teams in basketball on assists. They're one of the top 2 teams in steals per game. So they got active hands. And it's looking good. Now, not to mention, the funny thing was, I remember before the season started, I was sitting here talking about the Pelicans, and I was like, this team can make a legit leap. Kind of similar to when the Memphis Grizzlies took that leap last season. And here they are really playing like the team that I said they could be. Now, my standings predictions, I didn't have them being that team, but I said the potential was there. And they're playing beyond those expectations. Right now, they're tied with Memphis for first place in the conference. Willie Green continues to look like a huge coaching signing from last season, as he right now is probably one of the front runners for Coach of the Year with this team. And the Pelicans look like a legit title contender with practically a pretty young roster outside of CJ McCollum, Jonas Valanciunas, those guys like that. This team's a factor. I think this team's going to be in it to win it. I don't know if they're going to win the championship because it's still so early. Who knows? Even though Golden State has been struggling, I still think they can turn it around. You got Denver, you got Memphis, you got the Clippers if they can get healthy, but I'm starting to lose hope because they're never healthy. You got your teams though. You know, that's the big emphasis. There's teams that can win the West, and the New Orleans Pelicans are one of them. I think they're no joke. I don't think they're a pretender. With the way Zion's been playing at really like a top 5, top 10 MVP caliber level, it's going to get really scary. I mean, just to put it into perspective, Zion Williamson in his last 10 games is averaging 28 points per game, almost 9 boards a night, almost 5 assists to go along with that. That's really crazy numbers. And the crazier part is he's doing this on 66.5% shooting on 16 field goals a game. That's ridiculous. I don't know if we've ever seen a physical force like Zion with the fact that he's 6'6" and is basically like Shaquille O'Neal, but more mobile in a 6'6" body. I don't even know how to say it. If you want to say Charles Barkley in his prime, I don't even know. I don't know what Zion is. Zion's crazy. That's what he is. He is showing exactly why he was the generational talent, the generational prospect that he was coming out of Duke. You see it every single night right now with the way he's playing. And like I said before, if they can add maybe a couple more pieces if they want, or if they keep the same roster, it doesn't really matter. This team, in my opinion, is legit. And it's going to be real fun to see what this team can look like come playoff time when they get, more connected. The team is healthy. And they've already been through that playoff experience of losing to the Suns last season. They took them to 6 without Zion. And Zion, if he's in the playoffs, if he's healthy, makes them a completely different team. All I got to say is the Pelicans, top contender in the NBA right now. I think they're here to stay. I don't think they'll fall off. If they do, I'll be shocked, because right now this team is a winning basketball team with the plays that they make, getting out in transition, turning defense into offense, just a whole bunch of things that they do the right way. And I think the New Orleans Pelicans are going to be in the race to win the Western Conference come May, June. Anyways, that's going to do it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Link will be down in the description below. This has been a checkup where we talk hoops and hoops only. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.